Now you mentioned cancer. I know your wife, who I didn't have the pleasure of meeting, Melinda Sapp, passed away of cancer in 2010. Now I will tell you, and I've been waiting to meet you to tell you this, and I hope this don't sound weird, but I have watched videos from your wife's homegoing repeatedly. Karen Clark, all the different artists that got up there. I mean, if there was ever a homegoing done perfectly, I just think that you did such an amazing job. When you look back over those videos, I don't know if you still do, are you amazed at how God was really working through that room? Because the music ministry was just beyond for me.
You know, that day is kind of fuzzy, and the story. I met my wife in the third grade. We went to elementary school, middle school, high school. We double dated for the senior prom. She went with another guy. I went with another girl. We were best friends, man, in every sense of the word. And the song that you love never would have made it. The only reason why you heard it is because she nagged until I put it on the record. That's the truth. I didn't decide to put it on the record until the day we recorded it, because God gave me that song on a Sunday morning. Just it was after my father had passed away, and I just stood in the pulpit getting ready to preach, and tears rolling down my face because I had just buried my father on that Thursday. And I just started singing those words. I never would have made it. I never could have made it without you, God. I would have lost my mind. But now how I see how you've been there for me. And after this, I'm going to be stronger, wiser, better. And my wife kept telling me, this is it, babe. You need to record this. I'm like, no, this ain't even a whole song. The song is never would have, never could have, stronger, wiser, better. And she pushed, push, 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 push. And I finally just said, okay, look, I'm going to put it at the end of the record and just to appease you. And, 15 years later, believe it or not, that song is 15 years old. Um,
Mm.
it's still very relevant. I miss her dearly. I really do because, she was my best friend. Um, and she was really ride or die in every sense of the word. My kids miss her. We had to I had to raise three children, 11, 13, and 16, by myself, and two girls and a boy, two girls. That's all I got to say.
I
And
already know.
Yeah.
but they've done very well. They're 26, 23, and 21. All of them, my son went to Howard. My daughters, they both go to Alabama A&M. My two oldest, they got their bachelor's degrees. My daughter's in her master's program. My baby girl, she's doing her second bachelor's degree. She has one in psych and one in biology, and she'll be through in May because she's planning on going to medical school. So, I mean, they've done very well in the midst of all of that. Musically, you know, the gospel music community, we're friends. And when one of us goes through, we all go through. So,
Mm.
I just really appreciate the fact that they were all there. Kirk was there, Karen was there, Commission was there, Dorinda, all of them. They were all there. Even those that didn't sing, they were
I
just
think
there
I
to be
think
a
I seen
support.
Donnie McClurkin singing behind Karen.
Yeah, Donnie sang background and Marvin Winans sang back. I mean, so
That's
it
insane.
was an amazing moment. And, you know, you need those in times like that. You really need to have people that genuinely care about your well-being to be there. And
Even though it was fuzzy, were you able to feel the love in the room though? Because I mean,
oh, absolutely, 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 the love was in the room. I mean, my kids and I, you know we cried. We cried a lot. But one thing I learned, and if this is one of the things I want to leave with you guys, you know, just because people show up to be at an event, the true friends are those that's there after everything is done.
Mm.
And I can honestly say that
Yep.
Donnie and Karen and all of those, Kirk, all of them, they consistently checked on me, made sure that I was in a safe space mentally. My wife was a clinician, so it was easy for me and my kids to go into therapy, which is something that we don't talk about in the Black community or the Black church, which I believe that is a conversation we absolutely need to have, especially after COVID. we definitely need to make sure that we're getting some counseling to deal with the depression and the anxiety that many of us are feeling. But at the same token, I thank God for good friends, real friends.
You know, that song never would have made it. Leandria Johnson's been on the show. She's another one of my favorites. I know when she
Oh, yeah.
honored you at the BMI Awards and she was on that ground, and then you look over to the side and you see Yolanda in the cut. That's a whole bunch of pressure to keep performing. But you know what I love about Leandria the most is that she really is reflective of all of us as humans. Like, we go through things, we have our ups and downs. And I think sometimes the Black church is not as forgiving as it should be. And so I do love the fact that people like you embrace her, and that we understand that this life is a journey, and it's not a perfect journey. It's a storm that we had to figure out how to navigate through sometimes. So when she performed that song for you, did you pick her to do it, or did they pick her to do it? Because she was literally the perfect person to do that.
Well, they picked it when they honored me for the BMI honors. You get surprised by a whole lot of stuff when those events happen. So I came in, and I was just there. I didn't know what they were singing. I didn't know anything. So when she came out and started singing "Never Would Have Made It," I was like, "Okay, Leandria, I know what you're about to do to my song, but I really hope that you don't do it so bad that I can never sing it again." And then she transitioned and went to that "I made it" thing, and I just lost my mind. I was like, at that point, I was like, this is just ridiculous. Nobody should be able to sing like this.
And also, by the way, Marvin, I saw that they released that as a single, so you still got your coin. So regardless if she oversang it or not, you still got paid. And as we prepare for this show, my whole house was playing your version and her version, and either way, you got paid. So you won both.
Listen, hey, I'll tell anybody this. I'll tell anybody. Never Would Have Made is the song that keeps on giving. It's the song that keeps on giving. You, uh, who did it? Who else did it? Tiana Taylor.
Mm.
I think
Yeah, she did.
Tiana Taylor did it.
Hmm.
Lil Wayne actually sampled it and put it in
Wow.
one of his songs. I didn't tell nobody about that one. Uh, uh, but when the record company called me, right? This is funny. The record company
It's
called me
so
and
shady. I love
they
it.
said they said Lil Wayne sampled "Never Would Have Made It" and want to put it in one of his songs. We need to clear it. And they sent me the song. They said, "Now it's gonna have some cussing in it because it was on the Carter Five, and it's gonna have some cussing in it." Da, 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 da. And so they wanted me to hear it. So I'm listening to it, and I'm listening to it. I'm listening to it. I'm listening to it. And then my record company executive said, "Whoa, you all right with that?" And I said, "I didn't hear nothing but cha-ching, ching, cha-ching, ching, ching, ching."
I am not mad.
All I heard was dollar signs and
But
change.
the,
I couldn't
but
hear
the
nothing.
but the power in that, though, is that there is a gospel influence even with Jesus Walks with Kanye
That's
or
it.
Yolanda
Hmm.
performing. Like, this is the thing that I always say, and I love Karen Clark. I love you. If you're watching, please adopt me. I feel like if you're gonna get the newer generation, the younger generation, there has to be a bridge, and I believe that music is the ministry that's gonna do it. And so there's probably,
Absolutely.
like with Tana Taylor and Lil Wayne, there's a whole generation of people listening to that music, researching to find out and making a
Hmm.
connection for them. So I think it's a blessing.
It is. It is. And sometimes people in the church can be so, stiff and rigid that they hear stuff like, the remix "Never Would Have Made It" when they do that thing,
Hmm.
and people, they get stiff about it. And it's like, "How do you feel?" I said, "I think it's great."
It
And
is
they said,
great.
"You really do?" I said, "Absolutely. I think that's amazing." Because what they don't realize is that the message, even though they're remixing it, and even though people like DJ Khaled sampled it, and all these different individuals are sampling this music that I've done, my conviction and my initial message as it pertains to it hasn't changed. So, I just look at it like, God's just extending my reach
Hmm.
and giving me influence in arenas that, I may not get the opportunity to go in physically, but my music does. So I've
Yeah.
enjoyed it, man. I think it's funny and fun. My kids thought that, now that's funny. My kids, they think this is the dopest thing on the planet, man. They think like, you know,
But
And it's your wife showing up like, I told you. You know,
That's it.
It's
Mm-hmm.
powerful.
That's exactly what it's like. My wife is like, I know, she's looking down. It's like, Negro, see,
Yeah.
you talking about I'm nagging, but look, you still getting your coins in the end, ain't you? So it's been a blessing, man. It's really been a blessing that, God has allowed, again, the song I recorded 15, 16 years ago.
No, I think what you said is powerful. I mean, music is the ultimate transcender and connector of people. Me, I grew up in Islam, and that song is one of my favorite songs, and it touches me to my core. And it doesn't matter what religion you follow, what your background is, what your age is. When you have a good message and it comes from an organic place, it fills you up like that, and that's what that song does. So I'm still at awe that we're talking to you right now. But thank you, and thank you to your late wife for encouraging you to record that song.
That's what Callie told me. Callie told me the same thing. He told me, said, man, the reason why I want to sample this and put this in this song is because you don't really realize how universal your message has been across ethnicities and across, spirituality and spiritual lives.